Go slow with me on Bafana Bafana.
Okay.
Because I don't want to put my foot in
it. Oh, there you go. I think the audience might have heard the last part of you saying you don't want to put your foot in it, Coach. Good evening, guys. Welcome. We're live on YouTube. The coach just found that out. That's Coach Kevin Johnson. And we have another coach having swapped out Saucy this week. Obina Okafor joins us. It's been a minute, Obina. The last time I saw you, I feel like you were going to go recover and take some rest from something. It's good to see you back in good spirits. And it's good to have you both on the show joining me tonight. And thank you to you who's watching the live stream. Now, before we get into the meat of today's episode, I want to start with this report that's come out, gentlemen. It was done by the CIES Football Observatory, right? And basically, the criteria for the report was determined by ranking 60 leagues worldwide according to the percentage of minutes played by under 21 players since the 1st of January 2021. Now, fortunately for us, we're not the worst on the league, right? The Pro League in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, they have 1.6%, right? That's their percentage. The PSL comes in at number 6 with 3.2%. To put it into perspective, the highest percentage when it comes to this list is from the Primera Division. I think this is in Colombia. And then the Superliga, the Danish Superliga, they're sitting at 18.8%, 16.5%. And there we are with a 3.2. But I mean, I guess if you've been paying attention to anything that's happening, this has been an obvious problem of ours. I think it's just a stark reminder when you see it put down in numbers, Coach Kevin Johnson. Are you surprised by those figures at all?
No, sir. No, sir.
I knew that was going to be answer. Something told me that was going to be answer. I knew that.
Yeah. I think
what's taking so long?
Evening.
What's taking so long, Coach? When are youngsters going to get a chance? What's it going to take?
Our problem is that besides the pandemic that we've had, we've taken part in the Olympics. And normally, any country, when you watch them and you follow them, whoever's played the Olympics, you find that next year, wherever they come from, whatever teams they play for, they become regulars in their teams. And normally 80% of the Olympic team is under 21s. So I think maybe we should go and do our own research and say, our Olympic team that went to the Olympics this last year, let's find out where they are all situated now. Even though I think the Olympic team of last year was under 23s. But it still gives you a good guideline to find out. Are they playing? Yes or no? If they are playing, then let's tick the box, find out how many minutes. And if they're not playing, let's tick the box, but are they registered with the PSL team? You know, the typical example would be Zvuma Biliso, because I know him. That's why I mentioned his name. He plays for Kaizer Chiefs, left back. Has he been playing? How many minutes has he played this year? He ticks the box because he went to the Olympics. So I think that's a good starting point for us to start off. But the big question you answered is, I'm not surprised at that. I'm not surprised that we have such a low percentage going into playing in the PSL this year. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, no, there we go. I mean, Obina, looking at that and the company that we're in, you look at some of the leagues at the bottom there, and obviously the Persian Gulf, Pro League in Saudi Arabia. It's leagues that also have a lot of money in them, essentially. And so sometimes I guess, young players can be the victims of leagues where there's money, because most likely they're buying old retiring players who, past their sell by maybe, or older players who are looking to cash in for that last big check. So where does that put us as far as, sorry guys, my mic is wailing, in terms of our future development? How do we, coach says, let's find the ones who are in the Olympic squad, track them down. That might be a good place to start. But what's the long-term solution, do you think?
I think for me, the moment your NFD and your ABC Mosepe League are not really functioning properly, and you're not investing in them, because I think that's where the proper tool of getting the younger ones as quick as possible. In ABC Mosepe, if they start funding it and if they start bringing in money in there, giving them grant, and they'll be able to pay the younger ones to come in. That is where you start getting 17, 16, 18 years, start, playing if they could make it in the MDC league. But I think the biggest problem is also when you have an MDC league. Let me give a typical example like Maritzburg United. Yeah, there was a time I was asking a question. I said, a player played under 21. He's in the MDC. He goes through from 17 to under 21. Then he's 22. He couldn't make it into the first team at that moment. Then there is a gap between the MDC and the first team. So because it's under 21, there are late developers. There are players that can develop early. There are players that can develop late. But as much as we want to give young ones a chance, we still have to put in money for the league, like NFD, to be more competitive in terms of money and infrastructures. Then get the ABC Mosepe also to start being competitive more. You understand? So you call your ABC Mosepe like amateur. I don't think at the moment, with the kind of money I'm seeing people putting in their self money, putting in the ABC, I don't think it's supposed to be called amateur anymore. The thing they should do is to look at those leagues, encourage them, put in money. That's where you get the younger ones. I think for a long time, since I came back, I haven't been coaching. I was opportune to go watch some games, the ABC Mosepe and SAB League. There was a 16-year, I could tell you that I saw a left footer, a 16-year. That boy is amazing. He is amazing, a 16-year-old boy that I'm telling you, if he's in Europe by now, 16, 17, he's already playing in the Premier League. But here, you couldn't get that. You couldn't see that because the league is not sponsored. The league is not even functioning very well. So I think the biggest thing is also, there was a time that they said NFD should have under 23.
Yeah.
Then they selected under the first time, I think this thing came the first time they pushed NFD to have under 23. So I think I was still playing then. Then they selected an under 23 team that was going for Olympic. There was no NFD player in that team. You understand? There was no NFD there. Then how do you encourage those ones you're telling them to have under 23? Then the SAB, the ABC Mosepe, they must have under 21. So these are the things they need to look at. I think the proper thing is just to look at the league and restructure the league. The gap between the PSL and the NFD is just far too much.
Far too big, huh? Okay,
yeah,
but to that point, though, gentlemen, I mean, maybe you can give me your thoughts on this. Obina, when you say make it more competitive, put more money, my fear, right? I get that, is that the development won't be so much where the money goes, but because the stakes are so high, you're going to have that self-perpetuating system again where, chairmen are pushing for players they trust. And there seems to be a trust deficit when it comes to the younger players. So more money might, have an unintended consequence of now making the stakes so high that people don't want to take a chance on youth.
Look, I think also that it goes vice versa. You talking about players, it's also coaches. I'll give you a typical example. Like coach like Midindok always have that mind of giving younger players. Bring whoever, and also Coach Johnson, I've read about him so much, even like when I started playing here. I saw him when he was in Ajax. He had come up with younger players. So it's about the coaches that have that structure. When you get a team, you must understand the coach you bring it in. When you bring Jose Mourinho on your team, you just know it's about winning, nothing more else. It's about the players that wins, not about development anymore. But when you look for coaches that goes for development, then you understand that this is about development. So regardless, for me, bringing in money into the NFD will also give a chance for ABC Mosepe to come up. That is where you start seeing younger ones. But regardless how we say it, it still comes back to the personnel, the coaches, that have the ability, the mind to introduce younger ones into the league.
Yeah. Coach, I mean, to that point, do you think your affinity for youth has ever cost you a job?
No.
Never.
I think my affinity for youth comes from my teachings, Gamza.
Mm-hmm.
And exactly like Obini says, is your ability when you start coaching and you are introduced to proper coaching ethics, and you're not coaching for your stomach.
Mm-hmm.
You are coaching to improve athletes,
mm-hmm.
and you follow a certain structure. And like I say, when you've been taught when you have proper ground in development coaching,
Yes.
then you will realize that the best is at the bottom.
Yes.
And when that best matures, then it will bear fruit. You know what I'm saying? And you're not always the coach who I want to say, you're not always the coach that sees the end product.
Yeah.
If you're at the bottom.
All right. I see what you mean. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
You're making them ready for someone else to
enjoy the fruit.
Yeah.
There's many a player like that I've had in my life, that I Dalen Klassen, Hashim Domingo, Mubara, those are players that I worked with them when they were younger.
Right.
But I never got to grow the fruit by sending him to Germany. By offering, you see what I'm saying, Gamza? And
I hear you.
That is what you got to have. And there's a lot of our coaches out there at the young level who will just carry on and work to win all the time. And that's what's happening at the NFD. That's what's happening at the ABC. Everybody wants to win so that next to their name they can have PSL status. And when they're in the PSL status, then they come there and all they do is they recycle the players. And they forget about the younger ones that actually, if you look at it, Ajax Cape Town started with an under-19 team in the PSL. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they just carried on, and they became a powerhouse.
Yeah.
And this is what you got to look at, is how these people develop those things, and who is doing it best. Which country has a team and promotes as often as they can.
Yeah.
When you talk about money, we talk about Manchester City, and you look at them now. They've got 3 or 4 or maybe 5 very, 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 very good youngsters that Pep Guardiola refuses to let go, and they're like 18, 19. I think I spoke about this too a few times ago when I said the 19-year-old right back. 19. He's probably at the most expensive club in England, but he's putting in the young ones now.
Newcastle arrived, but yes.
Not since
the Newcastle got its new owners. But you make good points. You look at a Jude Bellingham. You're looking at players that are, well seasoned at such a young age. Julian Draxler had played about 100 games for Schalke at that time before his 20th birthday. So it's
exactly,
they get it. They understand.
They get it. They ease the one that's coming through, or the 1 or the 5, but they know at 16 that this one must start playing his games at the highest level that he can ever play. If the highest level for him to play is MDC, then he must play all the games in the MDC. And he's 16, he must play 500 minutes a year in the MDC, so that when he comes into the PSL, he's got the minutes under his belt and he's not scared to play against.
If I could say something, I think that is where football is missing more of technical directors. Rather than when they say management running football, you see somebody just come from nowhere, he's part of the management, he's running football. But if you have a very good technical director that understand and have the structure, and the team has a structure. I think that is where when a coach brings in a 17-year-old and is in the plan of the team, and maybe something happening between the line, he had to leave the team, then also the next coach must be able to take over from there and also carry on the team structure. But here you get in Africa, not only in South Africa, anywhere, you have coaches always believe on some certain players. Wherever they go, they have to sweep the whole team and bring in certain players. Then you don't have a structure in a team. You come in a team, then you have players there. They have their own structure. They have young players in. Then you said, no, I'm bringing in 12 players. Then 12 players needs to go. Then who are the ones leaving? You start taking out from the younger ones. And they don't end up growing, they don't end up the mentality, and I believe the confidence of them growing in that place to stand becomes a problem. But if they have this coach that's been with them, grow them, I'll give like typical example like Atozwane that's been with these younger boys. He's now in the first team. The younger ones, even if they're playing under Baxter, they still get that confidence from the coach that they've been with in the development.
Yeah.
You see, so that is another thing. I'm just saying, our African football, we need to have a structure. We need to leave this thing of management deciding or dictating what happens in the field of play. They must follow the rules or the employment where you have a technical director. He must do his job. You have the head coach. He must do his job. Then all this thing works in line. The technical director must relate with the management, understand what the management needs, and then bring it in football language to the coach.
For sure, he bridges the gap between the two. Yeah.
When you break that gap, you don't have somebody that transfer that your management, your business
mandate,
thinking, anything into football language to relate it to the coach. You always have this problem we're seeing in African football within the coach and the management. And that is why it will still come down to the younger players, to the football players. You still be having those problems that will never have a structure to give the younger ones room to grow up.
Oof, yeah, I guess. I mean, that's just the cold hard truth of the situation. I do like the fact that, you see a lot of younger players, some who have the means and the ability to go overseas. They're going for it just so they can get some minutes under their belt at a higher level than just playing MDC, because, you need to play in a more competitive level. So almost like we say, we're talking about bridging the gap, and how you say there's players who go from MDC and not to the first team immediately. So there is that missing middle, as we would call it sometimes. Okay, so that was an interesting way for us to start the conversation, but obviously some of the big news and the big stories coming through at AmaZulu FC. They've appointed on an interim basis a new coach in Brandon Truter. Gents, don't worry, your chance is coming. You pop up on the podcast and all of a sudden you're going to get called. So it's on its way. It's on its way.
Okay,
but
thanks,
obviously, let's talk about, before we get to Brandon, Benny's tenure. I mean, I think obviously a part of me feels like he was a victim of his own success, getting the team that high up the table in his maiden season, creates expectations. And he had expectations of getting the right personnel, more players, the kind of people he thought would help him find another gear. He almost kind of got, just given a parcel. Here you go. Here's some players. Maybe not to his standard. Rob Moore was speaking on the radio saying, hey, man, Benny got given a bunch of players he didn't really want. And, these things take time. Owners must be patient. You have to get proper coaches and allow them to do their jobs, which is kind of what he feels like they didn't allow Benny to do. So what do we make of his time at AmaZulu? Victim of his own success? Should he have just finished top 8 in his first season? And then he might still be in a job today?
Gamza, it's the roll of the dice. I think personally, I think Benny did a fantastic job to get them where they are. But I still think I've worked at AmaZulu. I still feel that we don't feel, or AmaZulu don't feel themselves. AmaZulu is the oldest team in South Africa. They're the oldest team in South Africa. There's no team in the world that can call themselves AmaZulu. That's how unique this team is. You know, the name itself is only for South Africa. There's nobody in the whole world that can call themselves AmaZulu. And that in itself has got so much history around it, so much
carries weight, stature.
It carries so much stature around it that I don't believe that the people that have it know what it's all about. They don't have that feeling. That's my own personal feeling, and I said this when I was there. The fact that they ended up second with Benny as the head coach, was really, really, really exciting. Was really, really good. The fact that they were now able to go and play in Africa, because when I was in Africa, a lot of people said, "But you worked at AmaZulu. You saved them relegation twice." You know what I'm saying? They deducted 6 points and all. I said, yes, they're a good team. Yeah. We were going to build something there. It just didn't happen. But there's a big history behind it that will make the players work better. Yeah. And actually give the players from from Durban, that area, because there's so much quality in that particular area that you can have players coming out there.
Yeah. So a successful AmaZulu is good for the region.
Diamond and dozen. For the region, there will be thousands of players there. There's many, many, many. And what Benny did was fantastic. I will not take it away from Benny. He's taken them to greater heights. If they are thinking that they could go to greater heights the next season, then I think they got the wrong end of the stick.
Right. They didn't manage their own expectations.
They didn't manage their own expectations. They didn't manage their own way forward. I think that if what he's doing now and where he is now, the team should be there. They should be where they are. I think the team is
because they played a lot more football than they did last season. They're traveling more. The schedule is heavy. So obviously you're going to tail off.
All that has to be taught to the players from AmaZulu, because like I said last week, is that when you have your players with you, you know what they're doing, you know where they are, you know what they're eating, you do that, you do this, and then all of a sudden you have a week break. And what do they do in that week? They go out, they sleep late, they do this, they do that, and they come back and have to play 2 games back to back again, and they haven't recovered. So those are the things that I don't think we as people, as non-coaches, really understand what happens in an athlete's mind when he's like that, or when they're in that state. So where they are now, I think Benny's done a good job. Yeah. And I give him credit for where the team is gone and where the team has gone in Africa. But if you want him to stay in position 1, 2, 3, 4, then you've got to put a little bit extra into who they are. And again, you know, this the Sitebe thing, and Benny saying things in the paper, it doesn't go well. And like what's the other coach's name now? He said, if you don't have a technical director who's able to direct those questions correctly, and you don't have a media person who's able to mediate what goes into your media and what doesn't go into your media, then you have a bigger problem. Because now you, Gamza, you're saying, is Benny his own worst enemy? No, I don't think Benny is his own worst enemy.
You don't think that he says a bit too much in post-match interviews sometimes? You don't think he shoots a little too off the hip?
No, I don't think so. Because from where I come from,
you think he's fair? Yeah.
I think it's fair because
Mm.
sometimes as players, you need to be told that there's a lot of people or a lot of areas where players will use that against the coach when they are not performing. You understand what I'm saying? So when a coach talks like that, they'll say, can you see he doesn't really like us?
Well, I
and
mean,
then there's other players who will say, yes, he's right. What he's saying is correct. We didn't play well. But you've got to learn how to handle that.
And you can't please everybody, I guess, at the same time.
No, you can't please everybody.
Yeah.
But you've got to make sure that everybody that's there, if the media guy is noticing this as a trend and then noticing the results as another trend, he's got to come together, which is, like you say, a technical director's got to come together and call the guys inside and say, guys, this is not going well.
Right.
In the change room and in the press room. They're not touching each other properly. So you got to talk. You got to talk.
Okay.
You got to talk.
I hear
you can't just leave. You can't just leave the guy to say what he wants to say because he's the head coach.
Yeah.
You
have a strategy for sure.
And that's a strategy. I mean, when you watch Jose Mourinho's first video when he walks out of Chelsea, the players are crying. The players are crying, which I did not believe. But when you watch his second video, the players are actually saying, thank you, we'll see the back of you.
Yeah.
We're happy to see the back of you.
Right.
Have you seen that, Gamza?
Yeah, no, for sure. That's the thing. Like players today, a bit of tough love, where maybe in your era and your generation of being you guys would take it on the chin and say, fair enough, we're going to do better in the next one. But I feel like, players of today have to, at some level, be treated with kid gloves because, this is what it is, the era of moping around and, selling the coach down the river. But at the same time, to Rob Moore's point, Obina, he was saying that Benni is top spec as a coach. You bring him in, but then you as management, don't worry about the rest of the structure, having Bennies in every other position of your club. Is that something maybe they should have focused on more as management to say, Benni, have time, figure it out, get this team firing again. Let us focus on making sure that the rest of the structures are up to your spec as a coach.
It's more like saying when you walk into, okay, let me use two cities, typical example like Nigeria. When you come into Nigeria for the first time, you will not be this person that is looking, hey, where do I want to pee? Because you even see the next person peeing closer to you. So you have to join whatever happening there. You want to pee the next place. But you come into, maybe you go overseas, or even typical South Africa, there is where you have to pee and there's where you don't have to pee. You pee in the cops is there watching you. When you finish, I am a man, I'm waiting for you. When a team has a structure and a coach is coming in, it's so easy for the team, for the coach to follow the structure. But like what we're saying, most of African team doesn't have structure. So when a coach comes in, he does what everything falls under him to do. And sometimes when you come to start to restrict it, then again, you start to restrict his performance. But for me, in terms of Benni, is that when you see Benni in Cape Town City and you went to hire Benni, you must expect everything you see in Cape Town City. You hire in this person. I was once playing with the goalkeeper, Emi Ketenge. I'll be scoring goal, he'll be conceding goal when we were in Maritzburg United. Yeah. I'll be scoring, he'll be conceding. Then I walked up to him, I said, hey, Emi, what is going on, man? You consider, he said, hey, Obina, when they bought me, when I was in Jomo, I was conceding and I was saving. So they bought me like that. So don't expect me to save all the ball.
That's a fair point. I am what I am.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say, when you bring Benni, you must expect this. You must expect this thing of going out of point or going out of order or anything. It's left for you to say, okay, fine, I have to bring him to order. Okay, fine. But look, guys, his performance so far is very, very, very brilliant for me in a team like AmaZulu. And again, people must learn how to, you see, this thing of I don't know how okay, AmaZulu finished second position.
Yes.
For me, I told people, I said it was a fluke.
Yeah.
For me, it was a fluke. It wasn't. It was Benny that came in, rejuvenate the players, you know, the mindset and everything, and they went on. So now, but with the quality they have, do they still expect to go that second position again? Look, we must live in reality.
Yep.
You understand? AmaZulu at the moment is not a top 3 team in South Africa. AmaZulu is not a top 3 team in South Africa. Benny did well to finish them second. And again, coming down this season, what is the quality? I think he lost about 2 of his good players. So now you must see there is something the guy is doing that is doing good. But whatever he does outside, this is who Benny is. They must learn to live with him. I was just reading an article, the Zungu guy or whatever, come out and say, no, they have to look at the reality that Benny is not going to finish in top 4. No, they have to look, it's not too late. Okay, fine. You went and bring in a coach. Brandon Truter is a good coach. I'm not disputing anything.
Right.
But now you went and bring, but he had a team like Swallows that was also relegated, going down. Then he come out, then he's taking AmaZulu. But now they're putting him in a tight corner where it's a team somebody has built. So he needs to come in and bring in his own ideology, his own philosophy. Then the players now must start to adjust in between the season. So sometimes you sit and think, is this really football decisions that clubs are being taken? Is there any football personnel sitting there to take those decisions? 7 matches or about how many matches to go, then you fire in the coach. Honestly, I think with Benny, for me, he has done well with that team, but they mustn't exaggerate more to say that that team is a top 3 team. AmaZulu is not a top 3 team at the moment.
Yeah, no, I mean, the thing is, I guess, yeah, to the point of his agent, he was saying, listen, he got stuck with players he didn't really want, had to make lemonade out of lemons, and, you know, I guess didn't have the 7 rounds of football still left to be able to do that. Brandon Truter will come in now, look to steady the ship and give them a top 8 finish, which I think they would have been able to do with Benny still around. You know, once they play their game against Horoya, then their schedule frees up, then they can focus in on the league and, you know, get back on track. You would have thought that, you know, maybe that's a decision a technical director would have made. So you see, when you see those lapses and those gaps, you realize that maybe there need to be better structures inside our football clubs. But we wish Coach Brandon Truter all the best. Yeah, we know his quality. He's got 7 games to show that he's maybe the man to take the job on a full-time basis. We'll watch this one closely, of course, because, Coach Brandon Truter. Obina makes the point that he's got his own way of doing things. He's going to have to come in now and try change things around. What's if you were giving him counsel, and you were chatting about what he needs to do with these next 7 games, what would be part of your advice? 7 league games and the 1 Champions League game. So his first assignment is the dead rubber game against Horoya, and then he's in the league against Baroka.
Invite him back to the show.
But that was the first and last time we're seeing him, bruh. After the trouble they've had with Benny, they're not going to let their coaches come and speak their minds on platforms like ours. So
look, Gamza, I think he's accepted it. Is an astute coach, Brandon. He's got to go in there with his feet running, but at the same time, take the advice, because they haven't got rid of the whole technical team. Basel is still there. The analyst is still there. Munip is still there. Yeah, so the core of the team is still there. What he needs to do is make sure that he gets to as close as picking the best team on the floor, getting advice from his technical team to win the next games. And that's what he needs to do. Orayo, I don't know whether they play them away or whether they play them at home. I'm not too sure. But
let me check. They're playing them away. It's an away game.
It's not important. All he has to do is go to the fixture.
Yeah, and give him a chance to see his players and what he's working with, I guess, coach.
If he's got to go away, then that's probably the best time to take the team that he thinks that's going to come back
and do the job
and fire for him in the PSL. And like you said it before. There was a run where Benny had to play Pirates, Stellenbosch, something else. He played 4 very, very, very big games in a row, and then he got fired. So the next game that Brendan takes over are probably teams that are on the same level as he, or that he is, and maybe he's a little bit better within the PSL. So it will be difficult, but I think he can do it. And with what Benny has left behind, if he follows the structure, which he can do, and he follows the technical team that he's got behind him, which I think is a very good technical team in Vasily and Nombeti and Manip, they're not going to guide him on the wrong track. And then, of course, with his own personality, dictate to the players how they should play, not bring in a new philosophy. If he brings in a new philosophy, that's going to be that will be like a little bit of a downfall for him. But bring in a philosophy where they understand him and they love what he does, and change here and there, but make sure he keeps the pressure on the players, and maybe rub them up a little bit, tap them on the back, have conversations, will make them feel better, and let them get their feet on the ground and see if they will play for him, because that's the difficult part. You've got 8 games and it's the middle of the season. The players aren't unfit. They can never be unfit. They're not. Maybe those that are injured, but 80-90% of the team is ready to play for him. They're not unfit players.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
And because they've been playing in so many competitions, they must be very good.
Exactly.
So all you have to do is have the guidance of the people behind him in order to pick the right personnel to go out and win the games.
Okay. Well, I do think that Benny would have gotten them a top 8 finish. Sure, but anyway, we'll never know. We'll never know. Sim Sally wants to know, do you guys think Benny would cope being a Kaizer Chiefs or Orlando Pirates coach?
I have to phone Benny because I've also been offered the Kaizer Chiefs and Pirates job. So it's an honor. You do the second.
It is an honor. I'm sure it is, but I mean, like, is it a conducive working environment for someone with Benni McCarthy's personality,
character? I've known Benny since he was 16 years old.
Yeah.
While a player, while becoming a coach, and I've never known Benny to be arrogant. I've never known Benny to be not someone who you can talk to. I've never known Benny to argue. You know what I'm saying? I've always known Benny to be able to have a good conversation and a good football conversation, especially. And I've known Benny to be a person that understands. And the fact that Benny's gone through some coaching courses and he's got his license and things like that, Benny must know the finer detail about what it is to coach. Whether he's capable of coaching Pirates or Chiefs, yes, I think he can do that.
But he's one of those coaches where he must be given the tools to do the job the way he wants to do it. Because that's I think that's going to be the criticism that he carries with him away from AmaZulu.
That's not going to happen in Pirates.
Albino. You see, Gamba, the thing is also...
Coach,
yeah.
with due respect, I don't know, let me not say you and I know. Let me say I know. Because even at the moment, I do talk to 1 or 2 people. Look, Pirate is where I tell you they've told. Okay, I was opportune. Roger Desa once said he was sitting on his couch when he came back from training. Then his wife served him coffee, or is it tea or coffee? He was having tea in his lounge. Then here comes breaking news. Orlando Pirates signed a striker.
Oh,
So, this is what you get there. And this coach, the one that left, the white, is it the German guy? What? That worked with Fadlu. That worked with Fadlu.
Oh, Zimbabwe.
Yeah, Zimbabwe. So
yeah,
Zimbabwe was once told in Ivy's office that, look, when he started complaining about players being signed and this being signed, that he gave a list of players that the players are not here. Then somebody, which I don't want to talk about, just said, Coach, what is your job here? He said his job is to coach. Then go and coach the team.
Oh, man.
It can be funny, but it's true. I'm telling you, reality is true.
No.
So I'm talking about a team like that where you just have to go manage, find a way to walk in between whatever you see. But again, look, you must learn to deal with these circumstances, For me, it's just if Benny decides, because nobody will say, no coach here in South Africa will say he doesn't know what is going on in there. So if you decide to take the job, don't come and complain tomorrow.
Later.
So because you already know what is going on there. So for me, it's just for him to decide if he's taking it or not.
Interesting. Okay, guys, let's move on. AmaZulu having appointed Brandon Truter to take over from Benni McCarthy, who Chairman Sandile Zungu was not convinced that he was the man to help them out of their current slump, which is one where, literally, it was a season of firsts, first time on the continent. That's a high finish for them last season. So all of these things were supposed to be taken into consideration. But hey, man, the man who made the decision is the one who spent all the money to buy the club. So that's what it boils down to at the end of the day, is that the club owners call the shots because they're the ones who made the investment. And a lot of the time they say they're just protecting their investment. Anyway, let's keep it moving. Let's talk about some of the teams that obviously haven't been in action because of the international break. We're seeing, in terms of Kaizer Chiefs, they're probably that dream of pushing Sundowns to the last day is well and done. But in terms of now what they need to do, I'm guessing, as far as maybe Chiefs fans, you can tell me what does Stuart Baxter need to do? There's still the weird situation around Itumeleng Khune. Does he need to bring him back in the fold? Do they need to be honest with the man and tell him to move on? As far as some of the players, you've got young players there. We've spoken about Mabaliso. Stuart always, as a criticism, is that he favors older players sometimes, even though he'll obviously back the likes of Bernard Parker, who help him out by bringing in performances that an experienced player would bring in. So what is on their to-do list, Kevin Johnson, for Kaizer Chiefs? Not many rounds of football left, not much to play for, except an opportunity to compete in African competition next season.
Yeah, Kamza, for me, the next 8 games must win. It's Kaizer Chiefs' eight finals that they got to put in front of them. How they do it, they got to make sure that they, number one, you asked about Khune. When I look at back history and I look at Buffon, I think he played for Juventus or
Juventus. Then he went to PSG. Then he went back to Juventus. Then
but he was at Juventus for
a long time. Yeah. Or he's at Parma now.
Long time.
Yeah. But he's in his 40s and he's still active.
Yeah, and that's what Khune does. Khune is that type of player. Khune can't play for no other club. That's just my opinion. It's like Asen Chulengo couldn't play for no other club. Teenage Dalla couldn't play for no other club. And this is what Itumeleng Khune is to Kaizer Chiefs.
But how do you remain a one-club man, coach, if you're not being played?
That is the X factor. That's the X factor, Gamza, is how powerful he is. What does he bring to the team now? Because, like I know, for example, Bernard Parker is also, he's 36 now, I think, Bernard, but he still puts in a good shift. You've got to learn to control him physically, because what you need from Bernard Parker now, and it's exactly the same like what you need from Ronaldo, what you need from Messi, what you need from them now is 90 minutes, nothing else. Their bodies have to be at its best. I can't hear you.
I'm sorry, Coach. I'm saying, you have Parker's contract expiring at the end of the season. You've got Kuna who's not playing. Is it not just time for a rebuild, Coach? Just to, new broom? Because, surely you can't be looking at the same players to be the problem solvers every time. Like you said, Bernard is 36. They need to find the next one, don't they?
I'm not saying that, Gamza. I'm saying is for now, the
Yeah.
immediate thing is those players need to be handled with kid gloves. But they are old enough. A 36-year-old is old enough.
Yeah, for sure.
For me to tell you, listen, Bernard, all I want is 90 minutes. And I want you to do it like this, like this. If you're worried about the end of the season, whether you're going to get a new contract, yes or no, tell me now, and we can start all over. Because then it's a different story. The one story is now, Bernard, I need you till the end of the season. You need to score goals. You need to do this. I need you for 90 minutes for the next 8 games. And
Right.
we're finished. But if you're
they've
going
got
to say,
10,
okay, coach,
remember, they got a whole 10 games
Yeah.
to play, Coach.
Okay,
30
coach,
points on the table.
I do it like this, but I want to have a contract. Then that's a different story. Now we're talking different stories. And like Obina says, now you have to have a technical director who's able to sit around the table and talk with these people. And then now we say, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to play like this for the next 10 games because we want to end up second. We want to play Champions League. That's our aim. If anybody in the room doesn't want to go that way, or you're putting up your hand and saying, or you're going into the corridors to talk about your contract, then you're doing the wrong thing. We are around this table. We bring you together. This is what I want. And this is what I normally do with my players. What I personally do with my players 3 times a year. Beginning, mid-season, and end of the season. Beginning, Kamza, you've got 6 months left on your contract.
Right.
Whether the team is going to renew it, yes or no, I don't know. But I'm the coach.
Yeah.
I want you to play.
Right.
Halfway through, we will have another conversation. Tick, tick, tick. During that time, I will be monitoring your in and out of the game. And before your contract expires, I will have talked to the management. And not I would have talked. And this is where you've got to have the backing. You go with your assistant coach and your second assistant and yourself, go to the manager. We have decided we don't want Gamza anymore. So the management says, yeah, but we've been watching the players and we think Gamza should stay on for another 6 months. No.
Yeah.
His contract comes to an end.
Yeah.
6 months. You got
let
to
him move on. Yeah.
Let him move on. You understand? So it's not Kevin Johnson. It's
the technical team,
saying
yes.
Gamza has to go. And Gamza knows we've had your conversation and each one of us spoke to you in this vein, and each one of us said the same thing in this vein. So
a united front. I hear you, Coach.
Exactly. And that, because that in one moment, like Obina says, at Pirates it goes like this, goes like that. That's the way you got to treat your situation at Pirates. You've got to go with a front, and you cannot allow
anyone to buckle. You can't have one loose, one rogue person part of the team. You all have to be singing from the same hymn sheet. Yeah,
and you
I get
cannot have a passage talker. If there's one passage talker, you say, okay, I remember last week Thursday we had a meeting. We were all in the meeting. We said this. How come you go in the passage and say this?
Exactly.
So what are you? Are you a comedian or something?
Is that the conversation Brandon was having with the He's an old assistant. Oh, Obina, are Chiefs really having such a bad season though? Sitting third, 10 games still in hand. You know, considering how a little all over the place they've been, you know, doing badly in the league, doing well in the CAF Champions League last season, to be third with 10 games to go. And, you know, I mean, is it really such a bad position to be in? What were they expecting? Where did they want to be?
Look, I don't think they've had a bad season. I don't think so. Firstly, I look at the team, you know, from where it's coming from. Yes, they played in the Champions League. And yeah, the team has been in a rebuilding phase throughout Backstars. People can say whatever, yes, they expect miracle. It's football, yes. But Kaizer Chiefs has gone through some bad repairs, you know, which you just need to dismantle everything, you know, in order to bring them to where they're supposed to be.
Right.
Look, I don't think third third at the moment, which they still have they have chances of finishing second this season.
Mm-hmm.
Then I don't think it will be a bad season for them. But again, they have to look at the positive going forward, you know, with the young players coming in, you know, building. Then it's the first season of the coach, you know, to look at. Then from next season, they have to know who to retain, who to leave, you know. That is when we start judging. We start making, there will be no excuses, you know, to say, no, this, that, no. So you've had the full one season in order to make your adjustment. Normally as coaches, I think I haven't signed a professional, a Premier League contract, but I still believe when I was in Kano Pillars, when I was working with the head coach. When you're signing the head coach, they tell you, okay, this is our mandate for the season.
Yeah.
And then when normally with team like Kaizer Chiefs at the moment that is in a rebuilding phase, they know themselves, will always give a coach like Stu Baxter a 2 years contract, 1 year up, 1 year in order to put the team in a competitive mode. Then the second season is to compete. You know, so I believe for me, and that is why they haven't fired him. They haven't decided his fate the way the fans expect them to do. You know, I still believe they want to give him chance to see whatever he has done this season, if he really has this next plan for the next season. So for me, I don't believe they've done anything bad at the moment. But let's see if they can be able to finish second. Dethroning in your first season, dethroning a team like Sundowns, then you must be something else. You understand? So Sundowns has been there. They've been there. They're really competing in not only in South Africa but in Africa. The way they play in Africa now, you know, when I look at that team play, they play as if there is nothing at stake. They play as if they're playing against no opponent. The way they play Al Ahly, those teams, they have all the confidence in this world to play. So you don't have a team like Kaizer Chiefs to come and dethrone them at the moment. So if Stu Baxter could finish second this season, I think he has done well for the team.
There we go. Okay, so let's see how that one pans out, and go to their Soweto neighbors in Orlando Pirates. In terms of, you know, their season, let's give you a quick recap of their current situation. As far as, you know, the season has gone for Orlando Pirates, gents, it's also one of those where the fans have the hope of maybe getting some silverware as far as the CAF Confederation Cup is concerned. So they're in a position there to possibly add something to the mantelpiece. But yeah, also for them, they're currently sitting in the fourth position. They've played 3 more games than Chiefs have. And, you know, the team behind them in fifth has 2 games in hand, and that's Cape Town City. As far as what they need to do or finish, in what sense? I mean, do you think Pirates fans would be happy if they just kind of floated through the league and won that the CAF Confederation Cup? Or, you know, what do you think the fans will take at this point in the season?
Just, oh, for me, they've got to go as far as they can in the Confederations Cup. If the way they've been playing, they've done very well. You know, when you watch them in Africa, they've done very, very well in Africa. Whether they can win it, I don't know, because if you look at the teams, there's some very, very good teams that play Confederations Cup year in and year out. You know what I'm saying? And the ones that have left behind, like for example, you've got that Berkan, you've got I think one of the Moroccan teams. They still alive there. I think Pyramids is still alive in the no. I don't know if Pyramids is still alive from Egypt. If they still in the Confederations Cup. I don't know who's alive still in the Confederations Cup. But the higher it goes, the tougher it becomes. It's just like the Champions League. It becomes a little bit higher. And then of course you have the one on top of that is if you win the Confederations Cup, you play the one game off against the Champions League winner. And that's a nice game also. That's a nice game to play. So there, I wish them all the luck, and I'm sure they can do better there, but they have to go right to the top. As far as the league is concerned, Pirates is Pirates. Pirates will never be Pirates is Pirates, and the mandate for Pirates is you got to come second. You cannot come first, because like Obina says, first it belongs to Sunwans at the moment. They're on fire. Right. But second belongs to Orlando Pirates. You know what I'm saying? It's exactly what the Kaizer Chiefs people will be saying. No matter where you are, no matter what you are, we've got 8 games left to play. We can come second. The permutation says we can come second. We don't know if Chiefs are going to lose those 2 games, those points, or whether they're going to play the 2 games. It's still all in limbo, even though they say they have 10 games.
They still have to play them, Pirates, I guess.
Yes, the mandate at Pirates is now, you've got to come second.
And then, so Obina, the other coach, finish off? Sorry?
No. Like I say, that for me is what the Pirates people are, what the Pirates fans will expect, is to come second and stop being this on and off, you know, and Champions Confederations Cup, you're playing like this, come home and you can't score 2 goals. You rather concede 3 goals, you know. So all those things come into play now this time of the season. And it's the last bend. Gamza. It's the last stretch. The marathon is almost done. You when you look up, there's 10 kilometers on the board left, and you got to push, and you part of the front runners.
I see what you did there, coach. So in terms of the team, Obina, as far as Pirates is concerned, do you think that if they won the Confed and did finish maybe second or third, I mean, obviously winning the Confed, I think gets you into the Champions League. If they did that, would that buy Fadlu and Mandla more time as far as this project? Because there's murmurs that they're looking to kind of have, you know, in inverted commas, a big coach come in. What do they need to do to be entrusted with this? And Pirates fans, is that something you guys want? Would you like to see the 2 coaches carrying on, or do you think there needs to be someone else different who comes in? What are your thoughts, Obina?
Look, like you said, if they won the Confed, if they just have to win the Confed, I think they've done well for the season. And again, if they finish second position, which is where I believe they belong at the moment, given the way Sundowns has been, and I believe they've done well also. The contrary part of things now that I just sit somehow in my lounge and just watch the way politics of football is going around. I don't think the result determines which coach to fire and which coach not to fire. You know, the owner of the team can sit down because you didn't greet him in the change room. You are fired. Because no, this person said this, you are fired. Because now, look, the truth is that most of the coaches been fired are not necessarily because of results, you know. And then, given Mandla's and Fadlu issue now, I also believe the fans are calling for their head in the way they've handled this Mahango's issue.
Right.
You know, so here it's not about result anymore. You know, regardless how they finish, there are some supporters that are sitting there saying, no, this boy have to play, this is happening, this is happening. You know, the management might decide, no, you know, this team is a fan-based team. No, look, the fans have decided. Look, the truth comes out. We can say whatever.
I don't know, eh? Obina, we know that management, you know, are probably in on the decision of why Mango is not playing. So how can they then defer to other people? Or are you saying that's the trick?
But I'm telling you, but
saying that's the trick.
You saying the management knows, but the management never came out and tell us anything. It's all about the coaches telling us what is going on. And here is the fans saying, because of what they say, no, they failed to handle the guy and this and this and this. You know, the fans are calling for their head at the moment. You know, so, but for me, I still believe that if they should win the Comfort, and I've seen what they've done so far, there is a process they believe in. And like I always say in every team, once it's the first season, give them a chance. Maybe the second season will prove if there is something on the line really they're doing. But from what I've seen, and for a team to go so far in the Comfort, I think there is something they are cooking. So we just need to give it time.
Okay. And then, I mean, guys, we know unemployment is a big issue in our country. So I don't know if this is your skill set. Apparently, Orlando Pirates are hiring. They're looking for a strength and conditioning coach, a performance analyst, a goalkeeper coach for the first team and academy, as well as an assistant data analyst. All of this with about 7 rounds of the season to go. So, you know, it's a weird one because, like, why are you looking for all these people whilst the season's running? I mean, it's just bizarre.
I don't know where, in honesty, Gamza, is when I saw that, and I seen it's on social media all over.
Yeah.
And I said, was Pirates operating without these people for the season?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Where are they? Like, have they been
because
there? Yeah.
Have they been there or were they not there?
That's a very good question.
Because nothing is saying these people were not there. So therefore, we're trying to hire them for next season. And this is the question I asked myself: is if where were they? Did they have these people? Yes or no?
Yeah.
They must have had these people. Or was someone doing this job
maybe
that was not? I don't know if expanding is the word. Because when you put it out now, they're hiring data analysts. They're not hiring an assistant data analyst.
You know, fair enough. Good point.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're hiring a physical, I think it's a physical strength and conditioning coach.
Yeah.
They're not hiring a fitness guy.
Yeah.
And strength and conditioning is the same guy in my books.
Well, yeah. No, the more I read it, the more it seems like they probably don't have those people, coach. That's why
if those people weren't there, then maybe Mandla was the assistant data analyst and Fadlu was the strength and conditioning coach. So, no, excuse me, guys, if you're listening, Fadlu and Mandla, but I'm just using your names in vain. Apologies, guys.
Pulling your leg. I mean, Obina, how does this happen at a big club like this? I mean, I don't think it was supposed to get out. There wasn't a bit of an internal vacancies being advertised, but it's a strange time of year. And considering, you know, maybe they need to bolster the team for the run that they're having. I don't know. I'm trying to find a good angle for them here.
I think we still keep on round and round saying the same thing, the same time, all the time. You know, this is Africa. These are the way things are run.
TIA, there we go. That's it.
And again, you know, anything can just happen anytime. And it was a funny thing that Coach Calvin asked, like, a team like Pirates have they been running the whole season without a data analyst or like without a strength and conditioning coach? And like for me, I don't understand. So if it comes out now, maybe now is their morning. Now is when they woke up, to make that decision. So
yeah, no, I think, obviously you had Kyle Solomons who left to join Al Ali. Michael Loftman also left. He was there because right now the 5 posts that are being advertised are occupied. Percy Malloy is the fitness coach, but he's also been doubling up, you see, as a strength and conditioning coach. So you have Darian Wilkin as the club's only performance analyst. So it seems like they're, looking to just grow the team, fill maybe 2 vacancies, and the others is just to help the people that are already there.
For me, I don't think it's regardless. So anytime they wake up and decide, it's their own money. So yeah, better late than never, So look, we can sit and talk about this and that and this and that. There is teams that are still running that doesn't have even all this. They don't even have it. Yeah, they don't even plan to have it at all. They don't
at all. It's not in their plans.
No. They tell you there is no money for it, or they feel is non-important. So for me, let's just give it to them and see. But then here we can see the coaches has been doubling up this thing. One of the coach might be the conditioning trainer. They've found their way to work so far. So that's why I'm still saying that wherever they ended this season, at the moment, I don't think they've done bad at all.
There we go. So Kaizer Chiefs fans, Pirates fans, do you agree with that assessment of the teams as far as the season is going? Chiefs have a lot of football to play with 10 games to go. Pirates probably the same as far as if they keep up a sustained run in the CAF Confederations Cup. There's a lot of football coming their way as well. And for both teams, it's for the benefit of South African football. We hope both teams end the season with a flurry. Let's talk Bafana Bafana before we wrap things up for the evening. They played Guinea on Friday. Obviously, there were some new faces in the mix for Coach Hugo Bruce. I'll take you very quickly through the starting 11 for any of those who missed the game. It was Motwa in goal. Then there was Mudau, Pulu, Spisi, and Mashiko in front of him with Mvala Munari in midfield. Then you have the likes of Bandile Shandu, Lyle Foster, Keegan Dolly, Evidence Mahopa finishing off the starting 11 for that encounter. I mean, the boys had a lot of energy. There were good passages of play, but the age-old problem, Kevin Johnson, finding the back of the net. I don't know how many chances our players had. And, this is always where the coach can only do so much. And then the rest is up to the personnel on the field to finish it off. But looking at that, you think, had we had a good striker, tried and tested, we could have won that game easily. We're fashioning chances, but I don't even know we're going to get as many opportunities to fashion chances tomorrow against France. So it's one of those where it just feels like a missed opportunity, the missed goals.
Yeah, Guinea, like I said before, Gamza, I was privileged to Vision 2022. It's Vision 2020, something else now. And when South Africa plays all these other countries, the so-called either level with you or a little bit higher than you, you got to win. You got to win. 1996 is very, very far away. And when you look at Senegal is a powerhouse. And we spoke about the percentage of players that play overseas and the percentage of players that are playing in the PSL. And when you look at the composition of what the coach is picking now, and then you've got to tell yourself that that team has got to score has got to score the goals. And if it means, I think you had Lyle Foster as a striker, or what's his name? It was Lyle. I can't
There
hear.
was evidence, Mahopa. So yeah,
Evidence.
there was evidence.
Yeah.
And then I guess Lyle, Keegan.
And the little boy, the guy from Royal AM, did he come on?
No. He didn't. He was not. He was on the bench. Did he come on for an appearance, Victor Lozano?
Yeah, Victor went with.
Yeah, he did go with. But I mean, he didn't start the game, so. But I mean, I guess the coach will say I was casting my eye. He came in for the injured Percy Tau. So when Percy couldn't make camp, they brought in Victor. Yeah,
they brought him.
Yeah, so I mean, there's that kind of continuity is there in a sense, coach. We did say that these games
we did say that.
Exploratory,
Gamza. But he's got the most goals in the PSL. Am I correct?
Yeah, from a South African player. Yeah,
from a South African player, most goals in the PSL.
Bring him on.
My mentality.
He's saving him for Tuesday. But you're right. It would have helped if he against France maybe. The big one.
It's just my opinion. It's my opinion. You know what I'm saying? He's the highest goal scorer in South Africa. Put him on in Belgium. Let's see what he does. Maybe it's his first trip overseas. Also in his life. We don't know.
We don't know, Coach. Yeah.
We don't know where they come from, the boys. So it's his first trip. Hey, let him get the jitters out. Let him feel what this beautiful Bafana Bafana is all about. Keegan Dolly, you've been overseas. You've been in France for a year and a half. You know what it's like overseas, man. Come on, let these guys let them go.
But also, I think this is where we can say the best are not being selected.
Oh, well, they never were going to be, Obina, because it's not you know what I mean? It's like, let me see how big my pool is. Let me bring players I haven't brought into the fold before so I can see what they can do. And then when it's, competition time, I will have had the benefit of having seen them in the Bafana setup. I think, realistically.
But maybe that is where I myself I'm seeing it wrongly, because national team is for the best. Every given time is the best.
Only the best, Obina.
The moment the best will be if you're not playing. Okay, coach, bring me to order. Let me know if I'm going out of order. Okay, I thought you called my name.
No, you're right.
Huh?
No, Obina, only for the best. The national team is only for the best.
Coach, that is what I'm saying. It's only for the best. It's just that this is not where you start building. It's not a building thing. It's about when a player is not doing well in his team, don't call him. Don't bring him to say no. When the player is doing well, bring him. If he's scoring goals, regardless, don't think whatever. He's scoring goals in his team. He's the highest goal scorer. Bring it on. It's only national team is supposed to be the best. It's supposed to be that if you're not playing in your team, you're not going to be playing here. You understand? This is where it gives rooms for people to fight where they are. Not because, no, I'm in the coach plan, no, I play the coach style or whatever. We'll always be having this thing of that thing and that thing and that thing. Look, there was
Obina, to be fair, the only player who's not playing, but the only player who's not playing, Obina, is, Bruce in goal. Everyone else was. And so it's not like he's picking people who are kicking their heels on the bench in general.
Oh, but we still go back to say, are they the best in the league at the moment? No, in the position they're playing, are they the best? Gamza,
Probably not. But I'm saying that Hugo Bruce himself has said, come the AFCON qualifiers, you will see the best Bafana squad. I need to see what I'm working with and who I'm dealing with.
Bafana, since I came to this country, I've been hoping on Bafana. So I'll keep on hoping. I don't think it's a problem. They've made me to hope, and I'll keep hoping. This is the thing, because how do you keep on hoping where you don't give us the team from the friendly game? Give us the team. Give us the test of what we want to see.
Like I said, you didn't think there were positive signs, Obina, from the performance?
No, there is.
And think there's something happening here. Yeah.
Look, let me tell you, I've been one person. I'm in real support of Hugo. He has done so much, like, for the team, like his style of play, the way I've seen the team play. But I'm still thinking, I think there are still players out there. If they're doing well in the league, bring them on, give them a chance.
For sure.
There might be a player that's been in your team. Take typical example, Rashford was not called upon these few games for England.
For sure, because he's out of form. Yeah.
But not because he is not in the coach plan. He's still in the coach plan. But at the moment, he's not doing well in England. They have to bring someone else. But come it friendly game, come it whoever, they have to bring in their team. Because this is the only time you have a team to build. National team is not a club side where you have time to train. And these are the times where you bring them all together every given time you have. Every opportunity you have, bring that team together. Those people doing well. So that is just my say, you know.
I hear you. But if there's a team in a top flight, Obina, and is being coached by someone who doesn't have the correct qualifications, are you going to rely on the game and how he's been using that system to see how that player plays, or are you going to bring him into a surrounding?
You know, being the coach, he doesn't qualify. It's no yardstick to measure a player's brilliance of football. If a player is good, a player is good.
Yes, for sure.
If he's not playing, he's not playing.
I get you, but sometimes players aren't being utilized their way, because we all speak about coaches making players better. Can you tell me if all 16 teams, the coaches are making their players better?
By playing them in the game. That's the only way that makes you better. By believing in you and playing you in the game. It's the truth. Believing in you and playing in a game. You become better day in, day out. You know, so that's the only way I believe a coach can strengthen, and also his teachings. But a coach believes in you, he will play you. And the more he plays you, the more. So, but if you have typical example, when you have let's say the issue of discipline and all these things, it also counts against you to say you're not going to be called upon in the team. So because you're not playing. But as long as you are playing, guys, we need to see that guys that are playing, that are performing at the best, at their prime. Because look, I always put it, let's put an example. Maybe your time to shine in the Premier League is this season. You're doing well and you're not called to Bafana Bafana. What will you have again to come into Bafana? Maybe next season another person comes in and outshine you. Then he's called in, but you never had your own time. So that is why I always say national team is for the people doing well at that moment.
At that time, yes.
Bring them on.
Let's judge them in June. Let's judge them in June. For me, I feel like that squad will have a lot of Sundowns players. We'll have a lot of, you know what I mean, like players who are essentially, I feel the top 4 or 5 will make up the bulk.
I didn't want to mention Gamza. I didn't want to call name, but now that you call name, it's what I'm telling you. At the moment, that team's supposed to have at least 7 Sundowns players, or at least 6.
For sure.
At the time, Bafana, I think when Spain won the league, they had about 7, if not 6, Barcelona players.
Yeah, when they won the World Cup, yeah.
Portugal, at the time, were having about 11 Sporting Lisbon players in the team. It does not mean that you have to call from it. If they're doing well, they're doing well. If they're the best, they're at the best at the moment. So give them a chance to play. Not because you call 2 from this team, then you don't have to call again. We have to share it. We have to ratio it. Then the team will never do well. We'll still keep on being in this position we've been all the time.
Okay. I mean,
but I said that 3 weeks ago, Gamza, to you. That
I get it.
The Egyptian team
I agree with both of you.
Has got 7 Ali players.
Exactly.
Yes, that's what I'm saying to you guys. I think that that's heavily loaded with Sundowns players. I think whoever finished second, third, and fourth will have also a say. That's what I'm saying. I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying,
again, Gamza, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. You come to a national team, the coach doesn't have much time to put in a style of play. But when you have a team like Sundowns, you have 4 of the team that are South African players.
I get you, and they know how to play together.
Then automatically there is a style.
Of
Then you
course, I
bring
get
others.
you.
When Barcelona won, when Spain won the World Cup here in South Africa, everybody was saying it was Barcelona. It was Pep's style that was brought into the team. The same thing happened in Germany. When they won, they said it was Pep's style. So there must be one team that dominates because they are good. Not because we want to have Kaizer Chiefs team. We have to have...
I get you. I agree with you. I think there'll be a bulk of Sundowns players. And if it doesn't, if that's not the case, then you guys will have been right. And I will follow my sword and I'll tell you. But I do think that, like you're both coaches. No coach is going to pick a squad that's not in his best interests or not going to win him games. So I think Hugo Bruce is a wily old, operator. He knows the continent. He knows our players' mentality. He's dealt with African players very well. So I think, we'll get there in the end. But let's see. Just keep a date. 28th of March.
Is it 2023 AFCON or 28th of March? 28th of March is AFCON qualifications for 2023.
No, I'm saying 28th of March is the day that I'm backing myself and I said that Hugo Bruce will have a squad with a lot of Sundowns players. We can come back to this date if I'm wrong. But yes, he's trying to qualify for the next AFCON.
Yes, the AFCON will qualify.
There we go. I think if he does that, if he brings all the Sundowns players, then I think we might qualify.
A team like Sundowns that is beating teams in Africa anyhow, like they come to your home, they don't even think they are away. The mentality now playing away from home. They're not more like South African, because when I was back home when we used to play Champions League, South Africans were like cry babies. They always travel, they cry. No, they treated this way, they did this way. But look at Sundowns now, they don't care what they treated. They go at your backyard, they beat you, they come back.
It's experience. It's experience. They're used to it.
The mentality. You need to bring them in the team. These are the players now that can carry the national team flag. They carry the team. Not a player that is playing for cheaper. It's the truth that hasn't been outside when he goes to play against Nigeria. He's looking at the bulky muscles.
I know.
Man. Those guys, I think those Sundowns players are ready.
They're the ones. I'm going to reel your tongue back for you, Obina, before it gets you into more trouble. Gents, that's all we have time for this evening. Thank you so much to everybody who's tuned in. We've given you a good hour and then some of chat here. Kevin Johnson, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Obina Okafor, good to see you again. Welcome back. I hope to see you again soon. And to you who's been tuned in, really hope you've enjoyed tonight's content. We'll cut it down and give you the best parts throughout the week. Remember to subscribe, and then we'll catch up on the socials. Big ups to Fidel behind the scene. And for myself, Kamon Batan.